Welcome to Spotlight. I'm your host, Josh Chapman, and today I'm with Amy Winn-VanHoeck, and today's show is sponsored by Simcoe Energy. Good morning, Amy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you.
Good. And I've got to do your full name and title because we were practicing a lot. So Amy Winn-VanHoeck, Director of the Blue Water Bridge, Michigan Department of Transportation.
Yes.
How was that?
Correct. That is perfect.
That was good. Okay.
Was good.
All right. We got to take those little wins. So today we're going to talk about, there's a lot of exciting things going on with the Blue Water Bridge, a lot of change, a lot of new things happening. And why don't you tell us about it?
Okay. So yes, a lot of change and a lot of exciting things coming in our future. You know, I think as everybody in this area recalls that there was a expansion project at the plaza that began over a decade ago. And unfortunately, the plans were a little derailed to lack of some funding resources, and the project was kind of placed in a holding pattern. The project for the Michigan Department of Transportation never went away, but we were seeking funding opportunities in order to complete the project. So the work that was done earlier out on the freeway and at the Black River Bridge and some of the other locations further away from the plaza was the beginning of that plaza expansion project. So I'm not sure if everybody truly understands that that work that was done was the first portion of this plaza expansion project. The second portion being the actual expansion of the plaza itself. So, so now that we've been able to find some additional funding resources, what was taking place between the pause that occurred over a decade ago and today was that the Department of Transportation was seeking some grant opportunities. So we were consistently putting in for different grant opportunities that became available. And 2 years ago, we were awarded an infra grant for $25 million to put towards the project. And so that began the process again for us to start looking at what was going to be the best opportunities for us to complete the project itself. Knowing that there was a lot of work that needed to happen prior to us being able to actually put a shovel in the ground. So that's kind of where we're at today. We have this $25 million infra grant that we've been awarded. We are looking at trying to remedy some of the concerns that were kind of left a little bit outstanding when the project took a pause. And so our new updated design. So maybe I should go back just a little bit as to how this process works. So when the environmental study was done for the original project, right, there's a geographical footprint that gets approved by federal highways. And inside that footprint, it says, okay, we've looked at all of the impacts that this expansion project will have on the community, on the environment, and all of those aspects. And then there's a report that's completed that says you need to do A, B, C, D, E, and F. And so what we have done in the last decade is completed A, B, C, D, and F. And so, but what that leaves us at is the selected alternative that was produced from this environmental study, which is basically the footprint of the expansion, needed to be updated because it's a decade old. And we have what's called a program of requirements with CBP, or Customs Border Protection, who leases space from us as MDOT. We own the facilities and CBP leases that space from us, but obviously as the authority at the port, they're the enforcement agency. They kind of take care of and decide who can come and go, right? So they have what's called a program of requirements. And that program of requirements is updated consistently to meet their security needs, their space needs, their equipment needs, all of those different things. And so that program of requirements is significantly different from when the selected alternative was designed over a decade ago. So what we've been doing over the last year is updating the plaza design. And so now we have updated designs that include all of the items that our partners at CBP will require. So a lot.
Couple of pieces, government efficiency and things like that.
There's a lot of stuff that's rolled up into one really small, tight ball. And we also had our DTE substation, which currently right now kind of sits right in the middle of our operations. Well, it will sit in the middle of the expanded operations. And so the Blue Water Bridge, in working with DTE, provided a $35 million funding participation of moving and updating the current DTE substation. That substation is about 50 years old, and it quite honestly wouldn't support all of the needs that we have moving forward, and it's in the wrong spot. And so what we have come up with is, like I said, the Michigan Department of Transportation, specifically Blue Water Bridge funds, have participated with a $35 million funding opportunity, I guess. We're essentially giving them $35 million. But this is over a $100 million project.
Wow. So it's a huge project. It's
Huge.
It's going to be a lot of shifts, a lot of turns, but it'll be a good thing, I think, for locally, the state, hopefully, and it's going to be an adventure.
It is, and it's about a 3-year process to move that location.
Yeah.
And so, but it's a huge advantage to not just the plaza and the needs at the plaza, but to the community as a whole.
Gotcha. And so where can people, so one, I appreciate you coming in and sharing this information. So if people want to learn, do they just go to the Michigan Department of Transportation website?
Yes, yep,
Outstanding,
they can go to
outstanding.
the website. We actually have a project website contained in the Michigan Department of Transportation webpage. And so it has all of our updated information. They can find the updated design. They can find shortly we're going to have the FAQs that are going to be on that page, because we also held a public involvement meeting recently at the end of January, and we had immense participation from the community, which was amazing.
Good. Well, thank you. Thank you for the information. I know it's hard to pack a 10-year project with $50 million plus into just a couple of minutes, but I want to thank you for coming, and good luck on your endeavors.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on Spotlight.